Okay, 8.9, sum and difference of two cubes. You guys will be able to factor the sum and difference of two cubes. So this is the last lesson with factoring. All right, how to factor the sum or difference of two cubes. Let u and v be real numbers, variables, or algebraic expressions. Then the expressions this and this can be factored as follows. So if you see something in this format where it's something cubed or something with an exponent that's a multiple of 3, this is what you're going to do. Now notice the difference between these two is the symbol. So once you've got this down, once you've factored out a GCF and you see the pattern, it's actually pretty easy. So you're going to take the cube root of u and the cube root of v, and you're going to have that with an addition sign in between each other. Then for this next parentheses, you'll have u squared minus the product of u and v plus v squared. You want to think about the signs, how it's going to be plus, minus, plus. So plus, minus, plus. This is for when you have addition. Now, if this is not making any sense, it will make sense once you see a pattern in the actual problems. All right, so when you have something that looks like this with the subtraction sign, it's going to be u minus v. Notice the difference how for this one it was plus, this one's minus. Well, you'll have u plus v, u minus v. It's pretty much the same thing, except the signs are going to be different. So it's going to be minus, plus, plus. So when it's addition, it's plus, minus, plus. When it's subtraction, it's minus, plus, plus. And feel free to choose note card on the test. This is something you could write down. All right, so let's actually try one of these. So it says factor completely, including any GCF first. So first I see, do they both have x's? No. This is a coefficient of 1. Can I divide 1 and negative 125 by anything? No. So here's how I know that this is difference of cubes. I asked myself, can I take the square root, or sorry, not square, cube root of x cubed? Yeah. And so that is x. Can I take and ignore the subtraction sign right now? Ignore the subtraction sign. The cube root of 125. Yes, that's 5. All right, so now I'm going to be using these two things. So first, I'm going to do x minus 5. Do a little color coding. X minus 5. Then in my parentheses, I'm going to have my first term squared, or x squared, then I'm going to have plus the product of those two numbers and then plus the last term squared. When I put it all together, it's x minus 5, or I guess put it all together slash simplify. And some of you might think, oh, Mrs. Lafreniere, this is so easy. Well, the easy part is once you know what to do. The difficult part is knowing, take out the GCF, being able to identify if it's sum and difference of perfect cubes. So if you can take the cube root of both terms and it's a binomial, meaning there's two terms, it's probably a sum and difference of two cubes. All right, so now let's look at number 2. So it's a binomial, so it's either difference of squares or it's different sum and difference of cubes. Well, I see exponents of 3, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see if I can do the cube root. Well, actually, first I'm going to check if I can do a GCF, which I can't pull out any GCF. So then I can take the cube root. Cube root of y cubed is y. Cube root of 27 is 3. Cube root of x cubed is x. All right, so here is our first part that we're using. Here's the second part. So we're going to have y minus 3x And then in parentheses, and remember with subtraction, it's minus, plus, plus. So I already have used my subtraction sign. I know in the middle it's going to be plus, plus. So I'm going to have this first term squared. I'm going to have, need a little more space, that 3x squared. And yes, parentheses do matter. And then we're going to have the product of those two terms. So let's simplify. Y minus 3x, y squared doesn't need to be simplified. Y times 3x is 3xy. You put x before y because it's standard form. And for 3x squared, this goes back to chapter 7 where this is power rule. So you're taking this exponent of 2 and multiplying the exponents by 2. So 3 to the second power, which is 9, and x to the second power. Okay, 2 more. Let me erase these quickly. Okay, factor completely, including any GCF first. So the difference between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 is that 3 and 4 have addition signs now. So we should be thinking of the signs. So it'll be u plus v, and then u squared minus uv. Put that. And then plus v squared. So plus, minus, plus. All right, so first step, I see if I can take out a GCF here. I cannot. So then I'm going to see if this is sum or difference of cubes. It's definitely not difference of cubes because difference, there has to be subtraction. So now I'm going to take the cube root of this first term. Cube root of 8 is 2. Cube root of y cubed is y. Cube root of 1 is 1. So now these are our two terms. So we're going to have 2y plus 1. And then it's going to be the first term squared minus the product of those two, 2y times 1, and then plus the last term squared. Move this over a little bit. Okay, now we can simplify. 2y plus 1. Now we have 4y squared minus 2y plus 1. Feel free to pause and try the number 4 on your own. For number 4, there is a GCF. We can divide both of those by 8. So I'm going to have 8y cubed plus 1. This is like your little sibling. Don't want to forget them. And now I'm going to just factor these two. Sorry, not that one. These two. So I'm going to do the cube root, both of these. Cube root of 8 is 2. Cube root of y cubed is y. Cube root of 1 is 1. So now I'm going to have 2y plus 1, first term squared, minus the product of those two, plus the last term squared. So now I'm going to have 2y plus 1, 4y squared, minus 2y plus 1. And with the GCF of 8 that we originally pulled out. I hope you can see that 3 and 4 are very similar because 3 is what we got after we pulled out the GCF. So it does make a difference if you pull out a GCF first. Otherwise, you'll get a different answer. Because if you did the cube root of this, it'd be 4 and y, and then this one would be 2. So you'd get a completely different answer. Go ahead and upload these notes.